Thank you. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Seventh Heaven Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. Follow the show on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on Google Play. We are on iHeart Radio. We are on YouTube, Odysee, Rumble. My God, we're everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me today. Shout out to our studio audience. Yes. You. It's you who make this happen. If you want tickets to our show, just send me a DM. I'll give you the address. But no men. Enough men. I've had enough men reaching out to me, complimenting me, sexually harassing me. I appreciate the compliments, but if you want to see my feet, my Venmo link is on my Twitter. Now, anyways, thank you so much for joining me. We got a great show planned for you, the listeners, the humble, loyal listeners. Thank you so much for joining me. I have an announcement. And that announcement is that I'm drinking gin. And that should help with the artistic process of performing and recording a podcast. It should. We're going to find out if that's true. It's not the first time I've done it. I just want to preface and let you know that if I say anything regrettable, that if I say anything offensive, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, racist, that these are not my true thoughts. These are my gin thoughts. Those don't count, right? We can all agree. I think we all agree. Anyways, on to our show. My God, we've got the most important, hard-hitting news today.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
The most important, hard-hitting news of the day to the Senate, where Senators Josh Hawley and John Cornyn take on a professor from Berkeley. I don't know if you guys know who these guys are. Josh Hawley of Missouri, John Cornyn of Texas. These are Republicans, and Republicans, they're the red ones. That's all you need to know. And there was a hearing. If you're hearing me, there was a hearing, and the hearing said some nonsense about whatnot, and they had a big discussion and hoo-ha, and that was that. So I'd like to play you guys some clips that would explain these very important issues here. So first, Josh Hawley, we'll start with John Cornyn. John Cornyn, senator from Texas, notorious gun grabber, cuck rhino, whatever you want to call him. He had this interaction with a law professor from the Berkeley. For people who don't know Berkeley is an elite institution, and they call it Berserkly because it is berserk. Anywho, this is a law professor. She has a septum in her nose. I don't know what that's about. I feel like let me just say, I am opposed to septums. For those of you who don't know, it's that piercing that a lot of women are getting now where it makes them look like livestock.
And do you think a baby that is delivered alive has value?
Yes.
Do you think that a baby that is not yet born has value?
I believe that a person with a capacity for pregnancy has value. They have intelligence. They have agency. They have
I'm talking about the baby.
And I'm talking about the person with the capacity for pregnancy.
You're not answering the question. I'm asking.
I'm answering a more interesting question to me.
Do you think that the baby that is not yet born, let's say the day before this mother delivers, do you think that baby has value?
I think that the person with the capacity for pregnancy has value, and they should have the ability to control what happens to their lives.
Well, first off, let me just preface this. There's a lady over her shoulder, white woman, with a with an N95 mask on. So apparently people are still doing that. I don't know. Anywho, the whole time she's rolling her eyes. I do like that when people roll their eyes because it tells you that they are taking you very serious and they're taking the moment very serious. So if they're rolling their eyes, it's a way that lets them, you know that you're invested in this. You care. You care about what that person's saying, is that when you roll your eyes. I think it's an interesting response. I don't understand the problem with that. I don't understand the problem with it. Can she directly answer a question? No, but she's a lawyer. She's not supposed to. She's teaching these people, she's teaching her students how to lie. This is her job. Is she good at it? I don't know. But she's good at redirecting from what we're talking about. A person with a capacity to give birth. Well, in my experience, those are women. And I don't have a lot of experience giving birth and whatnot, but what I know, and granted, I spent a lot of time in California public schools, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But in my knowledge, it is the female who gives birth. I think in seahorses, the male gives birth, but we are not seahorses. Seahorses do not have septums, per example. And anywho, so she had this back and forth, and it's odd. I think it's odd. I think it's a strange ideology. It's funny when people go, I'm not gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer a more interesting question to me. You know, if you were in algebra, this is honest to God, this is what I should have done in algebra. Because I was terrible. I crushed it in 8th grade math, and after that, it was just dog shit. And if I'd known that you could just say, I'm going to cross out the questions on the test and put in the math that I understand because that's more interesting to me, I would have crushed it in high school. I probably would have gotten into Berkeley. So anywho, she goes on to discuss this. This conversation continues with Senator Josh Hawley of the state of Missouri, the great state of Missouri. I've never been. Why would I ever go to Missouri? I do hear they have good ribs. So that would be the reason. That's probably the reason to go to Missouri, is for ribs. But anywho, so the conversation continues, and Josh Hawley asks his questions.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying
dangerous.
that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So
pregnant.
you are denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they also treated like this, where they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good time in my class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot just in this exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
By the way, if you're making Josh Hawley look good, I mean, that's on you. I don't know. I don't hate Josh Hawley. I'm not like, oh, what an idiot. I'm just saying that, like, this dude is like, he's a he's a Republican. These are uptight people. You, the left, should be running circles around him. And yet all he said was, are you talking about women? Well, this line of questioning is transphobic, and 1 in 5 trans people commit suicide. She's rolling her eyes the whole time, by the way. The whole fucking time. Trans people commit suicide for a lot of reasons, none of which have to do with Josh Hawley asking her if she's talking about women. And by the way, I love that when he asked her to give her, to define what this means, she's like, cis women can give birth. Some cis women can't give birth. Some non-binary people can give birth. Trans men can give birth. Ugh. She's giving a definition that requires more explanations. Like, what is a cis woman? How about, like, that's the thing. It's like, I go, hey man, I need help here. How do I charge my battery's dead on my car? How do I fix that? And then you start talking about carburetors and flux capacitors or whatever you're talking about, and I'm going, I just need this information, and you're gonna start talking about the whole fucking engine. This is what not low IQ, whatever IQ it takes to be a college professor so you can bully your underclass freshmen, whatever IQ that is, this is what they do to make up for not really having a lot of content behind what the fuck they're saying. You start throwing in other big words, and it's like, oh, here's my thesaurus. Let me just whip this fucking bitch out and start working every 3-syllable word I can throw in. I will throw in because I am smarter than you. That's the thing. I don't think she's smarter than Josh Hawley. So, take that what you will. If you think Josh Hawley is an idiot, I don't. But if you were a person, a non-binary or a trans or cis person, and you thought Josh Hawley were an idiot, well, this professor is dumber than him. Because she has nothing to back up what she's saying. It's social science that feeds itself. That's the whole structure of the social sciences, is they go, here's our ideology. We shall come up with this shit that proves it. Quote unquote, proves it. It doesn't prove shit. It's just, how do we know that there's racism? Well, there's disparity in income between white and black people. Well, what about whites and Asians? Well, Asians are different and they don't qualify as minorities. What? Why are you calling us white supremacists then? Well, Asians are adjacent to white supremacy. What? We dropped the bomb on them, too. We dropped 2 motherfucking atomic bombs on the Japanese. And we interned them in camps. You're killing me, Larry. Sorry about that. The point is, this is the logic. It's the logic in which they can say Barack Obama is a black American, therefore he cannot be racist and he has no power. Even if he were the president, he has no power. The guy can press a red button and drop 250 nukes around the world, but he doesn't have power because he's black, although he's half white. But that has nothing to do with anything because he's mostly dark. And he serves our political narratives. This is the logic of the left. I'm drinking gin, guys, all right? Let me catch a breath, have another sip. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're having a sip tonight, why don't you give me a cheers? Cheers. Ah. Let's play this. I love the Josh Hawley interaction. Let's just play. We don't play the whole thing. Maybe we'll play the whole thing. We're doing it live, gang. We're fucking doing it live.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
I'm going to count that, by the way. Would that be women? Let's see how many seconds it takes for her to answer. 1, 2, 3.
Many women, cis women, have the.
We'll say 2.5 seconds. Let's hope that she was going to turn on her mic, and that's what took her so long to answer this convoluted bullshit. But let's go back to Mr. Hawley here.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Would that be women? Anybody who has a fucking brain says yes. That's it. Yes, I'm talking about women. But she can't, because she's compromised to her ideology. She is in too deep. She cannot simply say yes, because trans men are women. If you still have the capacity to give birth, you didn't go all the way. You are not me. I cannot give birth. I still have all my man parts intact, no matter how small they may be, no matter the rumors. I'm tired of the rumors, guys. I am tired of the rumors. No matter what, I cannot give birth. I am a man. I had no control over that. I was born a man. I will die a man. I might die a boy, but I will still be male. I have 2 older brothers. My mom gave birth to 3 to 4 boys who grew mostly into men. Therefore, I never had any thoughts of, oh, am I a lady? Am I a gal? Even if I were to dress up as a woman, there's no shaking the balls that hang between my legs. I could sit in 1,000 cold pools and watch them shrivel up, but they'd still be there. They would still be there.
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy.
Many cis women have the capacity for pregnancy. Like 99% of them. And the ones that don't are outside of childbearing years. It's not that, like, oh, 50% of women can give birth and the other 50% of them can't. It's like 99% of them can up until a point.
Cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy.
Women. Trans men are women. You gotta chop that dick off, or sorry, put on it. You gotta put on a new dick, chop the. Well, I don't know what the fucking process is, guys. I don't know. I don't want to start sounding like a serial killer here, but the point is, if you want me to remotely consider you a man, as if you were born a woman, you can't just fucking tell me that you're a man. You got to go all in on the surgery. And if you do that, to my knowledge, you cannot give birth. So the trans men she's talking about are women who are essentially cross-dressing. And by the way, I'm not saying that's wrong. It might be wrong. That's between you and your God and whatever the fuck. I don't care. Lane Bryant, I don't care. But you cannot tell me that is a woman. Just because if I throw on a dress and start calling myself Ivana, I do not automatically become a woman. Like, that is so cheap. If I were to wear blackface, that doesn't make me black. If I started rocking a fucking straw hat and started doing the Chinese eyes, whoa, that's racist. I don't get to become, oh, I'm Asian. No. But if a dude throws on a dress and starts saying, I'm a lady, this law professor goes, she's a lady. This is convoluted bullshit. We shall continue.
As well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women.
Non-binary is these are the same people that go, there's a difference between sex and gender. There's a difference between sex and gender. Okay, we're talking about sex. You're not smarter than anybody in that room, bitch. We're talking about sex. Well, there's a difference between sex and gender. Non-binary is gender. Those are your own that's your own fucking logic. It's your own logic that sex and gender are distinctly different. He's asking you about sex, the reproductive process. Sperm, eggs, ovaries. 9 months in that fucking oven, baby. Babies. She's going, oh, well, non-binaries, boo, boo, well, they don't identify as women. They identify as non-binary. Okay, but if you were to fuck them, ejaculate inside of them, what happens if they miss their non-binary period? Are they still non-binary?
Women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other
We can recognize. I roll. God. That is these people need to be unemployed. They are destroying the world. They are telling people absolute lies constantly without any repercussion. Let's listen to that little tidbit again.
Issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator. We can recognize that it affects women, but who's the 95%? Like, who's the 99%? This is the point. This is the problem. It's culture. It's fucking moral relativism on crack, where people see one thing and they see another and they see some type of parallel and they go, oh my God, it's all the same. Everything's the same. It doesn't matter. So we can recognize that this affects, pregnancy affects women and non-binary and trans men. We can do that. Who's the majority? Who is the majority of people that are affected by pregnancy? It's not trans men and it's not non-binaries. It's fucking women. Holly.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of.
By the way, let's listen to Holly's question again here, because I think this is a very legitimate question.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
What's the core of this? So you have all these terms. You have women versus trans versus binary, non-binary. It covers everything in the world. Okay, so with that in mind, what are you trying to tell me here? And she's like, well, actually, your questions are transphobic.
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted
People.
suicide.
People's the word you're looking for, not persons. Fucking take that fucking septum and fucking wedge it up your fucking nose, you dumbass. This, again, the words people. Well, persons? Transgender persons? How about transgender people? You're not smart. You sound like a fucking document. Like a legal document.
So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
because denying that trans people exist.
Denying that trans people exist. Nobody said they don't exist, you dumb bitch.
And pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by asking
Are you?
if you're
Are
talking
you?
about.
Are you? Well, you just accused him. You just accused him. You're the one who said, you're the one who said that his line of questioning denies the existence of trans people. What is a woman? You're denying the existence of trans women.
About women
Are you?
having pregnancies?
Do you believe?
Are you? Are you? I mean, this is amazing. She's the one, you make the accusation. This is women for you.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Women, ladies. This is how women will argue. They will. Bill Burr did an excellent bit on this, which is if they are in the right, they stay on point. If they're not in the right, they go fucking rogue and they start asking about other shit. They start bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with the conversation. This guy's asking, what are you talking about? People with capacity for giving birth. Do you mean women? And by the way, this line of questioning is transphobic. This is the problem, people. This person is being paid to teach dumbass 19-year-olds about, well, life.
Having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you...
So you're denying that trans people exist? I got you. I got you. Oh, Mr. Holly, you're not schooled up on our fucking lingo. Oh my God. This is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Because she's so caught up in this lie, she cannot shake it. She cannot sit there and say, I know what you mean. You know, well, I'm going to tell you what I mean, but I know what you mean, right? If I'm having a discuss, like this, I hate it when people argue with you and pretend they have no idea what you're saying. They're like, well, actually, this is sort of, and it's like you're just filibustering. You're using a tactic. You're just using a tactic in a way to get out of the discussion because she doesn't want to have the discussion. She asked him if men can give birth. He says no. Well, you're erasing trans people. You're denying they exist. Ah! Is that really the takeaway? Is that the takeaway? Is that what the conclusion you can draw from this? I don't think men can give birth. Well, you're denying that trans people exist. They're women who identify as men. That's what trans person means. And you're like, you're just enabling that. And not only are you enabling it, you're lying to everybody. You're lying to yourself, you're lying to the trans person, you're lying to your students, to society, to everybody you fucking come in contact with. You are lying.
You run your classroom, are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or
No, they're not, bitch. No, they're not. We know that. Because this guy's asking you a very simple question, and you, in all your lawyerly knowledge, are coming at him with an ideology. It is an ideology. It is not science. It is not fact. It is not history. It is not proof. There's nothing to it except belief, faith. You're no better than a Christian. In fact, you're worse, because at least they have a fucking book that's been around for a couple thousand years. You guys have fucking sprung up in the last 10, 20. Mormonism is older than you.
are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence?
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
She's so condescending. She's so fucking condescending, because their entire ideology is based on, you are not as smart as I. I am superior. Everyone else I know who's white, and she's not white, but let's just say we all know the guy. We all know these people. I'm white. I recognize my privilege. Oh, I recognize my privilege, unlike my racist family. Let's be clear. All of this is because she's pissed off at her fucking parents. All of this. Maybe she's just a career whore. Maybe she's just climbing her ladder in life, or social ladder, and this is the means that they do it. But almost all of this is just about being pissed off at your fucking parents because they made you go to church when you were 12. That's all this is. I mean, there's the entire, it's this is a whole ideology that's based on, I know more than you, so you better get in line. And it works on idiots. It works on the retards. It works on the fucking morons who go, oh, well, I guess I better change my fucking avatar to black because I gotta support Black Lives Matter. These people are flexing their IQ, their status, and simply based on this idea that they know more than you, so you better just sit down and shut the fuck up. Well, guess what, bitch? You don't know shit. You might know how to give a good blowjob. You'll definitely know more than I. Maybe, again, but the fucking septum just pisses me off. Like, fucking, listen, ladies, if you want to get the septum, whatever. It doesn't make you look good. It does not make you look good. Now, the little nose ring, little diamond stud, okay, all right. I mean, but I'm still going to think you're a slut. So that's not my problem. But again, it's the nose ring. You look like a fucking bull. If I wave red at you, you might charge me. But anywho, this whole leftist ideology is so fucking annoying, if only because it's based in condescending your opponents. I swear to God, I blame Jon Stewart for this, because he taught a whole generation of progressives that the only thing you had to do to be smarter than people was to give a sarcastic response. And you see it online. You see it on fucking Reddit. You see it on every comment board. These guys go, oh, so what you're saying is, you think that trans people don't exist? Haha, got you, bitch. Got you. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. These are the worst fucking people in our society. Everybody talks about the great replacement theory. I support it if we are replacing them. I would rather have 100,000 Colombians and Guatemalans and Brazilians and fucking if you just took out all these people and shipped them. I don't give a fuck where. I don't care. Get them out. They need to go. They should not have any say on anything. They are the worst people. Their whole basis of existence is their perceived intelligence over everybody. These are the most insane narcissists that have ever lived. It's honest to God embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we listen to these fuckers. God, I think I'm giving my best Alex Jones impression right now. This is really taking the wind out of me, but it feels good. It feels good to be alive. Anywho. All right, I will read this story, and then I will take a break, and I will get another refreshment, and then we'll continue. So, this one should be short. This comes to us by the way of TMZ. I'm not going to read the article because the article is bullshit, but it is about LeBron James. Ladies and gentlemen, the most intellectual, deepest thinker that American sports has to offer. LeBron James, noted reader of 4 pages of every book that he's ever held. He was speaking on Brittany Griner, who you guys know. If you listen to the show, if you listen to the 7th Heaven podcast, yeah, you bitches, yeah. All you motherfuckers. If you listen to the 7th Heaven podcast, you know that I stand with Brittany Griner. I think it's bullshit. Fuck Russia. First off, if you arrest people for weed, go fuck yourself. Turn in your badge and bite on a double barrel. Sorry, we had a bit of a technical difficulty there. Marijuana is a plant. It is not a perfect plant. It is certainly addictive. Let's be clear. Marijuana is addictive. Don't fucking let anybody say it's not, but it is a plant. And in comparison to all the other drugs and alcohol and the shit that doctors prescribe you, marijuana is like on the bottom ring of shit. Vicodin is worse for you. Percocet is worse for you. Quite frankly, alcohol is worse for you. But I'm fine with all of those. My point is, we stand over here at the 7th Heaven podcast. We stand with Brittany Griner. Yes. 100%. I am sitting right now because I'm lazy, but I stand with her because 1 is a little bit of weed. Fuck off. 2, I don't trust the Russians. I know this is controversial. I don't trust Russia. I don't think that they're 100% the villains that people make them out to be. I certainly don't think they stole any of our elections. That being said, I don't trust them. They have motivation to fuck with America right now because of their invasion of Ukraine. So even if she is admitted, quote unquote, admitted to the crime of smuggling marijuana into the United States, that I don't fucking care about. Because she's an American. And if there's one fucking reason to have a military-industrial complex, it's every time an America gets locked up overseas, we put our best, our quote-unquote best and brightest, although you might have learned from our last clip, they're not so best and they're not so bright, but we should put our Department of fucking all these motherfuckers on that shit. Get her out. Get out. There's another dude over there. Get him out. I don't fucking care what they did. You represent America. And if there's going to be a trial of an American citizen overseas, there better goddamn well be some American government agents over there making sure they aren't fucking with her. That it's not a show trial. Oh, she broke the law and she brought weed in. Fuck off. It's fucking weed. It's a different country. They have different rules. Yeah, Captain Hindsight, it's a different country. They drink vodka for breakfast. Should she have done it? No. No, she should not have done it. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I just don't give a fuck. It's weed. It's essentially harmless. In the grand scheme of shit that you can fucking do and that you can put in your body, you can inject the fucking COVID vaccine. And I think that has a much higher risk than marijuana. Sorry, not sorry. But anywho, beside the point. LeBron James, greatest basketball player of all time. If you exclude Michael Jordan, Kobe, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, if you exclude all those motherfuckers, LeBron James is undoubtedly the greatest of all time. The greatest thinker of our time, even. He said on his show, The Shop, which is a show where LeBron hangs out in a barber shop and talks shit, because that's what all black people do. All black people hang out in barber shops all day and they just talk. This is exactly what you do when you get a bunch of white people and go, let's have a show for black people. You know what they like? Remember Barbershop, that movie? The one with Cedric the Entertainer? Let's do that with LeBron James. And LeBron, who's a brilliant he's a brilliant entertainer, my guy. He came out with Space Jam 2, that classic. He said, yeah, absolutely, let's sign on with that. And on his show, they put out a trailer for the new episode. Somehow it's gone on for fucking 5 seasons. I don't know who the fuck is watching this. But he said, quote, about Brittany Griner, now, how can she feel like America has her back? I would be feeling like, quote, do I even want to go back to America? First off, LeBron James is a billionaire, so he would have lasted about 2 seconds in a Russian prison. They would have fucking gotten his ass out. That guy pays more in taxes every year. The American empire does not need him fucking getting locked up overseas. So yes, he'd be out before her. Not a surprise. That being said, what does that mean? Does America have her back? Do I even want to go back to America? Yes! Yes, she would like to come back to America. At this point, she'd probably want to be in Sri Lanka. I love this thought. She's in a Russian prison. He's like, would I even want to go back to America? Yes. LeBron James, I swear to God, dude, shut the fuck up and dribble. That's all you're good at. And whatever hair products that you're using to recreate your hairline, please give me a number. I could use the help. It's amazing. I mean, this is the disconnect of the elite class. And elite is a term used loosely. I mean it economically. The guy's a billionaire, so he can announce, yeah, would I even want to go back to America? Yeah, that's where all your fucking accounts are, you idiot. That's where her wife lives. That is the country she was born in, raised in, where she could smoke weed with relative impunity in many states, including the one she plays for. Because she lives in Arizona, I believe. And marijuana is legal in Arizona. So shout out to Arizona. I didn't mean to do that. Live studio audience, what are you doing here? Get in the game. Get in the fucking game. I mean, this is the amazing. How can she feel like America has her back? I would be feeling like, do I even want to go back to America? Yes. You may come back and say, I don't know if I want to vote for Joe Biden again. Maybe I won't take a knee the next time I hear the anthem. Maybe I won't be shitting on America as hard when after spending 8 months in a Russian prison or whatever. All of that is true. Can she feel like America doesn't have her back? Who's America? The Department of fucking Justice or whoever. I don't know who handles this shit. fucking Joe Biden's executive branch of the presidency and all of his departments and underlings. That is the America he's talking about. Because Evan, as much as powerful as the Seventh Heaven podcast is, and it's only powerful because of my loyal listeners and all my great friends who listen to the show, it is, but the reality of the situation is that I have very little say. All I can do is rant and yell on my Twitter and on my microphone here and tell you all that I think Brittany Griner should be free and that the Biden administration needs to be doing more to get her out. I could also be telling you that if Donald Trump were president, she'd already be out. But that being said, LeBron James, great intellectual thinker of our time, just shut the fuck up. I'm going to go grab another drink. You see that? That is just all ice now. It's all ice. I need more gin. This is what I need. Guys, Venmo me some money so I can hire a bartender for my studio. And, whether or not I use the money towards that is not relevant. The important thing is that I should not be refreshing I should have a fucking fridge or a cooler. That's what I should do. I should have a cooler. I should get a cooler and just get my alcoholism going on here. Not have to get up and leave. Anywho, we'll be right back. And we're back. Yes. Oh, it feels so good. I refreshed my drink, gang. I hope you did too. I am drinking gin and soda. It's not technically soda, it's sparkling water. It's unsweetened sparkling water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrates. I don't know what the fuck they even have in this. Ingredients, carbonated water. What does that mean? What does that mean? What is carbonation? I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. It's just something you consume on a regular basis. All right, guys, we're going to go more lighthearted here. We're going to go more light-sharded here. Might need a little more sparkling water. All right, this one comes from the way, by the way, this one comes by the way of the New York Post. It's by Samantha Ibrahim. I'm a plus-size teacher, and my students beg me not to eat them. Let's just let that simmer. Let that settle in while I have another sip. Kids will be kids, and nobody knows that better than school teachers. A proudly plus-size kindergarten educator. Sorry. All right. Educator, teacher, why? Anywho, a proudly plus-size kindergarten educator is going viral on TikTok for revealing the vile, albeit sometimes hilarious, things her students blurt out about her body. Those kindergartners so vile. In a multi-part series, a good-humored TikToker who goes by the name Sue Style Vibes posted a video in which she's dancing while sharing the clueless comments she gets from the kiddies. Quote, I'll never run out of material for these. Hashtag educator. Hashtag educator life. Hashtag what kids say. Hashtag just laugh. Hashtag LA. Ugh. She captioned the funny TikTok. Sue noted that some of her children beg her, quote, please don't eat me for lunch. She also revealed that some kids have explained to her, quote, there are two types of people. Some have a line body, some have circle bodies like you. Another tot told her once that she looks like Ursula, the purple-colored supervillain from Disney's The Little Mermaid. Some of these eagle-eyed elementary students even clocked the hair on her legs, and they couldn't help but open their mouths. Quote, you have prickles on your legs, one child spouted off, adding that it looked like, quote, the grass outside their apartment building. Ugh, that's oddly specific. Another one of Sue's students declared, quote, I can sit on you, but you can't sit on me. That's what I tell every woman. Please don't eat me for Please don't eat me for lunch, she then joked, referencing a statement another ill-mannered kid blurted out one time. Other comments that children have said to her include, quote, your arms feel like a stress ball. And you're the prettiest girl in the world. Wait, what? What? Where did that come from? You're the prettiest girl in the world? Please don't eat me. You're the prettiest girl in the world. That's the only way that makes sense. Sue's fans guffawed over her video and took to the comments their hilarious reactions. Quote, the way I would get defensive and roast a small child, one teased. Another one wrote, this one had me howling. Kids have no filter. One time a kid pushed my belly and squealed squishy. Quote, the thing about kids, it's usually quite innocent. It's rarely meant as an insult unless they are much older. Another one of Sue's fans chimed in. Oh, my God. Gang, here's the thing about kids. If you're fat, they notice. And if you're proud of being fat, then fucking deal with it. I could stand to lose a couple pounds. I'm not proud of that fact. I also don't fucking work with kids because I know they're mean. If I were teaching middle school, I would be eaten alive. They'd be like, those kids, those fucking 13-year-olds will pick you out and find everything wrong with you immediately. They will know that you had a fucking daddy issues just by looking in your eyes. And like, your dad never hugged you. And you're like, oh, fuck. How'd he know? Because he's 13 and he doesn't know what it's like to get his ass kicked. So he just announces it. Anywho, you know what? Good, I guess good for her in the sense that she has a sense of humor about it. That being said, these are not vile comments. These are just observations that are true. They're kids. They don't know better. They don't know better. And if you're proudly plus-sized, quote unquote, morbidly obese, if you're proud about it, then yeah, fucking deal with it. That's the job. You wanted to become a homemaker, teacher, this is what you're doing. You're going to put up with some little shits. And they're not going to be there. Here's the thing. Kindergartners aren't trying to bang you, so they don't know how to be, subtle. Subtle Sue. But that's the thing. Please don't eat me for lunch. If kids are saying that to you, here's a chance to get a gym membership. If kids are pointing out, hey, you got prickles on your legs because you don't shave your legs enough, maybe shave your legs if you're going to be showing them off. You're a lady. And they don't want you to eat them for lunch. And that's the thing. You're ginormous. Kids are small. Kids are fucking tiny. I am scared. It's like they can fit into tiny spaces. They fucking run around and you can't even find them. They're gone. They're great at hide and seek. They kick my ass every time I play hide and seek with the neighborhood kids. They kick my ass. So if you're a giant, they notice these. They notice that you're humongous Because not only are you big for everybody else and normal people looking and go, that's a big bitch. The kids are going, oh my God, she's huge. She's a giant. Don't eat me. Because to them, you can eat them. So let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson in let's lose some weight. Let's cut back on the carbs. Let's hit the treadmill. Let's go to the gym. And hey, I'm in the struggle too. I ain't judging for that, but this should be a learning opportunity, Sue. Anywho, I appreciate it. You know, listen, this is the best part about TikTok is these fucking crazy white women are just uploading their worst possible opinions and thoughts. So and Evan gets content. So, hey, it makes my life easier. Thank you so much for listening to the 7th Heaven podcast. Follow us on Twitter at 7th Heaven. Follow us on Instagram at 7th Heaven Pod. Share with a friend. Share Apple Podcast, Spotify, Odysee, YouTube, Rumble. Give us a like and whatnot. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Have a great week.